But y'all stay tuned because by the end of this year, this hoodie's going to be stretched out by my muscles. That's my resolution. Just my biceps.
Welcome to the Good Dudes Podcast with Aaron James and Logan Bean.
Where each week we're going to talk through the ins and outs of everyday life through a Christian perspective.
So let's do it. Logan Bean, 2022.
2022.
New year, new you.
New year, new us.
Oh, new year, new us.
Still good dudes.
Still good dudes. Hopefully we're still good dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
It is 2022. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. I mean, I think about back being a kid when like 2015, like the year we graduated, was like so far away. And now it's so far behind us.
Yeah, like, I mean, if I hear something like that happened in 2013 or 2012 or anything like that, I'm like, oh, well, I just automatically think that was like maybe
just a couple
a
years
few
ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
Not almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, that's so weird to think about.
Is this what getting older is like?
I guess so. I mean, and I've always like, thought it was cool, but yet also at the same time been like, oh, that's so weird that people are born in like 2000.
Right.
Yeah. Like, that's just, it's so weird, so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just always think it's weird, like the number just keeps getting higher. I mean, it's not like it's any different than anything else, but the fact that like, oh, we're another one?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and I know everybody says it, but it's really like it's starting to get faster and faster. Like the years feel like they're getting shorter.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it was yesterday that I was still in high school.
Yeah.
Like that was 7 years ago.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Right?
7 years ago?
7 years ago.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
We graduated 7 years ago. This was our last semester in high school 7 years ago. Think about that for a second. We were 18, 17, fixing to be 18.
So we're 3 years away from our 10-year reunion.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, because like when you're in high school and when I was in high school, I see the guys that were mid-20s.
Yeah.
And how they talked about, when I was back in high school and
now you're like, yeah, you're with me. Like, chill out,
Yeah. But now I'm that guy. It's just weird.
Yeah. To look at high schoolers now, I'm like y'all just seem so young.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't feel like we were that young.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
We were,
Definitely.
no doubt about it.
Definitely.
But I look at them, I'm like, you're gonna graduate this year? Like you're going to college next year?
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember you when you were like baby, like a kid, like real little.
Like there's kids that me and my sister babysat, and they're like halfway through college, and I'm pretty sure one of them's engaged, and I'm just
insane.
like, what? Because I don't see them any different.
Yeah, it's so weird when people like younger than us and people that I remember being a kid are like ahead of us in life, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, you're married and you have a kid?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
wow.
your house?
That's your car? That's your house? Yeah.
Gosh.
No joke. Yeah, it's so funny. And like, we're definitely at a time right now, especially you. I mean, you just were in a ton of weddings.
Yeah.
But I've got a ton of friends who are getting married, like either just got married or will get married this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. And I knew that like I said, like I would look forward. I'm like, oh yeah, I know that time of my life's coming when people my age and all my friends will be getting married. But now that it's happening, it doesn't feel like I'm in that
It should
stage.
happen. Yeah. Well, now it's to the point where I'm like, oh, well, there's a lot of people that get married in their late 20s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's okay, and just keep pushing that back to where it's like, oh, all my friends are married now.
Right.
But they're like, well, I know plenty more people that were married way later than that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Madeline gives me a hard time. She's like, in May, you're going to be halfway through your 20s. How do you feel about that? I'm like,
oh, gosh, I didn't thought about that
what?
either in March, man. I just think about it because I'm like, oh, gosh, I actually got to worry about life insurance and stuff. And like myself, like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
You think about like retirement, I'm always like, that's so far away. And it's like, if you don't start now, and I'm like,
exactly.
oh, what if I don't start
Dude,
now?
it stresses me out.
Oh.
It stresses me out.
Absolutely. Man, another year down. We'll be 25 this year. And I mean, you just came on full time at the church.
Yeah.
Big moves being made.
Big moves.
Big moves.
Big,
Finally,
big moves.
full-time job. It's gonna be good.
It's going to be good. It's exciting.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, COVID started 2020.
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
No, COVID-19.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. March of 19.
Yeah.
Right? Or March of 20.
No. See,
even
I don't
remember.
know.
I can't even remember. It's from 2019 to now is a blur.
I wonder if COVID has made it more of a blur.
No, it would have been 2020. March of 2020 was when everything shut down. Yes, that's right. Because we've only had one March back. Yes, that's right. So March of 2020 was when we shut down the church.
So March of 2020 was when you shut down the church. So, but
right
COVID
when-
probably started in
It started late.
2019.
Yeah, that's when we started hearing about it. It was late 19.
Yeah.
That's why they named it 19.
Because I think I remember like seeing it like different countries and it spreading, and then
Yeah.
it finally got to
yeah,
the
it finally
United
got
States.
to the United States. Yeah, because it was that thing in China that we were worried about over Christmas that year.
Yeah.
But it was like, I won't get over here.
Yeah.
And then the next thing, yeah, because school shut down. Because I remember we were doing an LED wall install in March of 2020. That's what it was. Well, that's when we got all those LED walls in March of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys, I remember being in the room when one of them got the first phone call of they were shutting down the schools in Memphis. And he had to leave to go get his kid. Like, he had to leave Fort Smith to go drive home so he could be with his family because his
Is
kids
that
were no longer in school.
Red Wire or something?
Yeah, insane.
Goodness, man.
But yeah, and then last year was just, I mean, a blur. Because all of a sudden it was like, oh, we can do stuff, kind of. Let's
Kind of.
do as much as we possibly can
And
within
then
some sort of regulation.
it got worse and better, but it was still bad.
I don't know, I quit caring about
Regulations,
it.
and it was mask required, and then nobody wore their mask, which I don't know. It still doesn't totally make sense to me.
No, I don't get it either. But yeah, so 2020 was an absolute blur. And then 2021 trying to figure everything out was even a blur.
Yeah.
So I mean, when I think of last year, I'm thinking of stuff that happened in 2019.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm thinking of me just being on staff for a year.
Mhm.
Not me being on staff for 4 years
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's nuts.
like I know things that have happened in my life the past few years, but I can't tell you what year it was in.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I officially started Aaron James Media Co. in December of 2020.
So you started that
With
when
the
I
goal
was
of launching in 2021, but I ended up starting in December.
So you launched Aaron James Media Co. when I was just in talks of coming
Yeah.
on as an intern.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You were hanging out and stuff is what I did. But yeah. Ooh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Because we filmed the Christmas Eve. Ooh, at Brooke's house. Ooh, the next day was the day that I launched Aaron James. Media
Really?
Co. Yeah. Because Brooke did my website and we launched it that day.
Nice. I remember
Crazy. Crazy.
that. Man. And I mean, I think about it like I was an intern at the church for a year. But it doesn't seem
Doesn't seem like it.
that at all.
No. And over the last year, I mean, this year has been crazy. I mean, think of the stuff that's happened. I mean, you know, this year is the first year that I've lived on my own. This year is the first year that my girlfriend's been in a totally different state. This year is the first year that, I mean, what? Like, I've traveled more this year. I've traveled more during COVID than I ever have the rest of my life. It's crazy. I hadn't flown in probably 12 years, and I've been on a plane more in the last year and a half, than I ever have my entire life.
Yeah. Well, first time I've ever flown was last Christmas of 2020.
Yeah.
And that's when I got COVID, but it wasn't because of the flight.
Yeah. Oh, man. Crazy
Dude.
stuff.
Dude.
But I mean, I think about all the things the cool stuff we've done this year, the funny videos we made. I mean, like we made that video in July that launched this. Really,
yeah.
I mean, that's when we really started talking about doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think that's what it is. I think that we're at the age now where we're starting, like you said, like you're living on your own. And I mean, I know I moved in with some buddies a couple of years ago, but I mean, we're getting new jobs. We're flying. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff.
yeah,
And I think because it's kind of one thing after another, I think that's kind of making it a blur.
yeah. Well, we're finally doing all those things that we watched everybody else do for so long.
Yeah.
And that's what I think of. It's like, I remember being in high school, watching all the kids in college and kids out of college, people, young adults, like do their thing and figuring out life and doing all that. I remember that happening, but it never seemed like it would be my turn.
Yeah.
It's always been like looking forward to the next step even after that. We launched this on 9/11. Did you know that?
Did we?
Yeah. 9/11 was our launch date. That's even crazy.
So that's a little over 4 months.
Yeah, just over 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's so cool. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not super long.
No, but
like it definitely feels.
the
longer
amount of
than
time that it's felt like it's
Yeah.
long for what it feels like.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Gosh,
episodes. This will
man.
be episode. Let's see, 14. Which is so crazy. We're almost there. We're almost to 100. I saw a podcast
76
last
away.
night
What?
that I was watching that they hit
86 away.
episode 100 was their first episode of 2022 was episode 100.
That's cool.
Like that's cool.
That is cool.
Like I wonder how far in advance they figured that out.
Yeah.
And like kind of planned for it.
Right.
Like, I think we're gonna miss this week. Or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Because you gotta be very strategic with that. You can't make it like the last week of 2021.
Which podcast was that?
That was the Duck Call Room with Godwin and
Martin.
and everything.
That's cool.
Uncle Si. But yeah, so 2022, I think it's gonna be predictions for the year.
Oh man.
It's gonna be a year of change. I can already tell it's gonna be a year of change because there's things I think in both of our lives are gonna change a lot this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're coming on full time. That's a big change.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think we're both in a position where no matter what happens, we're going to grow like
there's gonna be a lot of growth.
exponentially.
Yeah, this year's gonna be a big year for growth.
Going to be a lot of learning.
There's gonna be a lot of learning curves.
Yes.
And I can already see those kind of coming, and I'm like, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, it's gonna be good, but this is probably gonna hurt for a while.
Yeah. And I don't know, just I could sit and think about where I'm at now and what all I have going on and try to predict this could go this way, this could go this way, this could go this way. But it seems like now more than ever, there's so many options that could happen, so many roads that I could go down.
Yep.
Where I'm at a place where I've learned that even when I see all the roads, when I think I see all the roads that are ahead of me, majority of the time, the Lord brings me down a road that's not even on my map.
Not even an option. Yeah.
And so whether those are scary roads or exciting roads.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited, and I'm trying to take it day by day just because I've gotten wrapped up in that before, especially like out of high school and during college and stuff like that. I would get so stressed out about doing the right thing and making sure I was on the right path. And I don't know. I would just get really down on myself and for no reason.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, there's a lot of times I can overthink like what I think is going to happen, Yeah.
Yeah.
To the point of like, over exaggerate. I'll be like, oh, I'll never get to do that because of this, or I won't get to do that, or I won't get to do this, and, or I'm sure it will go this way, and I won't get that opportunity, or I won't get to do that, or even the other side of it of like getting your hopes up, like this is where I'm doing, and then all of a sudden when that doesn't happen, oh crap, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah.
And I think that's that's a big deal, and I think that's hopefully that is the way for not hopefully. Hopefully this makes sense to a lot of people, and that like you're not alone in this, because there's so many people right now who like are doing that. Am I working from home? Am I going to the office? Do I need to change jobs so I can work from home? Do I need to change jobs so I can work in an office environment? Like, I think now more than ever, and it may just be that, like, because of social media, we see it more. I don't know. But I feel like there's more people that work for themselves or work at home or on their own time kind of thing than we've ever seen before.
Yeah. Yeah, and...
like, the whole van life thing has taken off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you have a full-time job to afford to do that?
Yeah.
But also look at the amount of YouTube creators or content creators that are out there from TikTok or whatever it may be that are making a full salary making videos.
Yeah, that, and what's the new big thing now that everybody's doing where they're making money creating logos and stuff like that?
Or NFTs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I don't get that at all.
I don't get it because
that's the whole buying and trading and stocks thing that I just don't get.
But people have been forced. Well, they might not have been forced, but some people were forced. But to explore that direction as far as doing stuff from home and being creative in that sense.
Yeah. Well, I think people are realizing that there's so much opportunity out there.
Yeah.
That as to where used to, like I think of back in the day, so many things were family run. If you were in that family, it was great for you.
Yep.
To get in there and to branch out and start your own thing, you're fighting people who have been doing it for years. Mm-hmm. Well, now there's so much stuff out there that's like, it's an equal playing field. Look at the number of podcasts. There are millions of podcasts. Insane numbers of full, not episodes, just of shows themselves.
Yeah.
Every day there's like 100,000 episodes uploaded or something crazy like that.
Wow.
I mean, if you think about it, we do one a week.
Yeah.
And every day there's 100,000 uploaded. Like, that's insane. And anymore, like, podcasts are trusted more than media is.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Rogan this week got in trouble. Not in trouble, but like, people started going after him because he was actually having real conversations with people versus against what the media was saying.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this is real because he's just a person.
Yeah.
He has nothing to gain from
right.
it. He's got more money that he never knows what to do with. And no one's paying him to, like, we're paying him to hear it.
There are no rules. There are no try to persuade people a certain. I mean, I'm sure there are podcasts that do that. But a lot of it's just real talk.
Yeah. A lot of it is. And, I mean... yeah, like, I was listening to the Duck Call Room the other night, and all they're doing is talking. Like, it's just four guys hanging out, talking. They were like, who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl? And that's what they talked about, 15 minutes. And but then they talk about how many viewers they have. And I'm like, that's crazy. And they're on episode 100.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy that many people watch them. Now, yes, they were TV sensation, the whole thing, and had the show and all that. And they have a large following just from all the hunters and things like that. But still, like, a random podcast to do that well, like, that's nuts. Mm-hmm. But I also think about some of the things we do, like our Dad's on Christmas video, like, got a lot of views. Mm-hmm. All the 2 services that we did online got, in a week's time, was almost 5,000 views.
Wow.
On Facebook and YouTube combined.
Wow.
Like, a lot of people watch that. That's cool to know that, like, that many people watch something that we did.
Right. Right.
And yes, there were other people involved. Don't get me wrong. Nobody get butthurt about it. But, like, you did the worship with Colton. Mm-hmm. In both of them. And the rest of the team wasn't part of it. But, like, I still filmed all of it. Yeah. And still really like scripted the whole thing out, you know.
Yeah.
Just as far as who was going to be where, but yeah, I mean it's crazy.
Man.
But yeah, so what else? 2022. What's something you're looking forward to this year? Like, is there something that you're like, I'm excited for this?
I'm excited. I mean, I got to experience and grow a lot being an intern.
Yeah.
But now that there was a huge, ginormous safety net
Yeah.
being an intern. And, you know, I had some responsibilities, but not super crucial ones that involved a whole lot of other people.
Yeah. Nothing that will, like, if it fell through, was going to be unobtainable.
Right.
Like, nothing was going to burn or crash or burn.
And it's going to sound like, don't let it sound like I'm just going to say it. Because I didn't have like so many responsibilities and stuff like that, there wasn't like so much depth to it. There was a lot.
Yeah.
But now that I'm full time and I have these job responsibilities, I get to go deeper and I get to have just more experiences.
Yeah.
And
well, your time was so limited.
Yeah.
It was like we wanted you to do certain things while you were here, which kept you from doing other things in ministry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just being involved with things.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody will tell you in any job, you know, there's only so much actual work that has to be done, if that makes sense. No one, and I'm sure you get this is a generalized statement. There are people on both sides, I'm sure. No one is working 100% of their time in the workday.
Right.
Do people do a lot? Yes.
Yeah.
I do a lot. My days are jam-packed normally from the time that I get there to the time that I leave, which is normally early and late. Mm-hmm. And I don't work 100% of the time.
Yeah.
There are days I'm very close.
Yeah.
But I don't work 100% of the time. As to and somebody in like in any other field, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to go use the bathroom. You're going to have to take a break for a second, take a breather. You're going to have to have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
Is that work? Sure. But us having a conversation about something isn't us, like, fully working.
Yeah.
And I think, like, when you were still part-time, a lot of those conversations had to be shorter because it was like, okay, we need that concentrated amount of work just to happen here while you're here.
Yeah.
And then everything else, well, it can happen later.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to be like a full-fledged part of the team and be able to give full-time efforts into it and just to I'm just ready for it. I'm not expecting, there's nothing that I'm expecting out of it.
Sure.
But I just know that, like I said earlier, it's going to be a lot of growth and a lot of new experiences and a lot of personal growth, but growth is in like being able to have more connections and stuff like that too.
Yeah, getting out some for sure.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, there's just it's kind of an open playing field because I'm not really like super tied to anything.
Sure.
That's going to keep me from not being able to do all these options.
Yep.
And so
I think like I'm the same way. This year is kind of the first year in a long time, well, ever, that there's not something constructing me to do something. I'm not in school. We're not worrying about COVID. We're not having to relaunch or restart something. It's just kind of like it's going to be just another year.
Yeah.
That's open and a blank slate.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. Like there's some big things coming, but there's nothing that's like, this is going to take the entire year.
Yeah.
Or we don't know what it's going to, like the last couple of years have been. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, of how different this year is already.
Yeah.
And we're 5 days into it.
Yeah. So thinking back, I know we said that it's all been a blur, but has anything, I don't know, if you could have a theme, end of the year 2021, a theme for the year for you, not like super personally, but you personally.
Oh man. I'll
let you think about it.
Yeah.
Because I've thought about that, and
It's a good question.
For me, it's not to make it all super spiritual, and I know it sounds cliche, but just the Lord's faithfulness, and Him keeping true on His promises. I've seen a lot of stuff in my life this past year that is, as far as His promises come to fruition, that I had thought about and that I had worried about even years ago.
Sure.
And not that I've never seen His faithfulness before, but it just seems like this year it's been just a repeat of, hey, you were worried about this, remember this? Well, I got you. And even the times, I know PR did a sermon that when we were doing God is Faithful,
Yeah.
or whatever it was, the times that I definitely wasn't faithful.
Sure.
He's allowed me to see every season of my life and where He was.
Yeah.
And it's just been super awesome and very encouraging to me. And I don't know, it's been really cool, and I think like I needed that so bad.
Yeah.
And that's given me encouragement for this next year, and with where I'm at in life, it's just been super awesome. And I don't deserve any of it at all, but it's just, I don't know really how to explain it. It's like He opened something in my brain. He took the scales off my eyes to allow me to see how I am, where I am, and who I am, based off everything that's happened in the past few years.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, when you were worried about this instant,
Yeah.
that was there, so you would go here, 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 and end up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that I'm not where this isn't the end goal. I mean, this isn't the end game, but it's been really cool.
No, I remember having that same feeling and same thought, because that was such a big part of my story of like, even going all the way back to high school, like choosing where to go to college, choosing what to do in college. In those moments, I didn't see it. When I graduated college and came on staff full time, I remember going, "Oh, this all makes sense since I was in high school."
Yeah.
I started doing this then, like my sophomore year of high school. I went on my first mission trip, not knowing that 8 years down the line, I would be on staff full time at the church.
Yeah.
Never was a thought in my mind.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. Like, I remember having kind of the same thought when I was first coming on.
Yeah.
I think if I were to give a phrase to it, I think the phrase would just be open season. Because I don't feel tied down to anything anymore. I don't feel like I have to be somewhere or I have to be something. I feel almost just a release of like, hey, it's time to just do something. Like, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think about just doing it. Like, just figure it out. Let's figure it out. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what all that means. There's still so much floating that I wish would land. But I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of change this year for me that I just don't know what it's going to be like on the other side yet.
Yeah. So pretty much what you're saying is 2021 has been kind of the last few pages of a chapter for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely feel like the chapter's turning, chapter's coming to an end, and just trying to make it to the next one, see what that's going to be. Because there's just so much. I mean, there's just so much changing right now that it's hard to nail down what next month is going to look like.
Yeah.
Like that's how open and like free moving everything is from here right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what next month is going to look like.
Yeah. And that
which is cool.
It's very cool, but
It's
very
also
scary.
Scary. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, so
because there's a lot of things. It's like I'm a huge component of do not burn bridges.
Yeah.
Because you never know when you're going to be somewhere. Because there have been way too many times where I said the wrong thing and burned a bridge. And 6 months later, the person who I needed to talk to was on the other side of that burnt bridge, standing there waving at me going, "You're not going to cross."
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things that's like, just don't burn bridges. But yeah, it's kind of scary.
Man.
Not knowing.
So somebody watches this and they're in the same boat as you are. What is there? Has there been something for you that helps you? Because I mean, I'm sure you get, at least a little stressed out about making the right decision and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
what would you tell that person if you were looking at you through the camera right now? What would you tell yourself?
The main thing would just be like, you've got to get to a point to where it feels right to even entertain those options. Like for so long, like this isn't the first time where I've had a lot of options. There have been multiple times in the last few years where I've had a lot of options that I could have done a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time where I felt like I'm supposed to do something.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to move. And I think that's the biggest thing of, like, if you feel like you need to change, my thing would be, has always been, it needs to be so obvious. Like, because I don't want to open doors when God's really just giving you a window to later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you can see out that window and you can see a path that's like, hey, that's coming, but we're not there yet. You're still looking out the window. You haven't made it out of the house yet.
Yeah.
That door's still not open. You're just looking at it for right now.
Yeah. And
so that's where I feel like I'm at. I feel like I'm looking at like a glass door, and it hasn't. I'm at a point right now where it hasn't opened. It's still closed, but I can see it, and it's like, okay, is that for now or is that for later?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest struggle right now, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's one of those things too where neither option is a bad option. And both options are going to require a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so to get there and just to make everything smooth, but I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been talking to, I've actually had a few conversations about this, and not that I am so wise and old and mature, but something that the Lord's shown me is I've had conversation with people where they're like, I want to do what the Lord wants me to do. I want to do what's right, but I'm afraid that I'm either doing something and I'm going to make the wrong decision and it's not going to be what He wants. Yeah. And I get that, and the Lord definitely does have a plan for your life. He knows exactly what you're going to do. But I tell them, like, you can't focus on making the right decision. You got to serve the Lord and do what you have to do for today. Yeah. And trust that whatever decision you make, that's what the Lord has for you.
You can't give up on anything.
Yeah.
Because if you start like, if you go, oh, I have this opportunity, I'm going to start not doing what I'm doing now to potentially chase after this opportunity that I don't know if I feel comfortable with yet. That's a that's where it's, to me, it's kind of like you're veering off that path.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I'm still going where I was last called to go, I'm still on that trail until I am obviously called to step off that trail and go on a different one.
Yeah.
That's what I always think.
Yeah.
I mean, because like I said, you can't burn bridges. Don't burn bridges, people, because it doesn't do you any good. It just hurts you in the long run.
Yeah.
And stopping doing something because you think you're going to do something else is burning that bridge.
Yeah.
You always, I mean, if you can help it, you always want to leave on a good note. Someone's always going to be mad. You're always going to hurt somebody's feelings. If
Sure.
you're, like changing jobs, because I think of people who have changed, that I've worked with, that I'm like, oh, you're leaving. They're like, yeah, I'm going to plant a church. What do you? I'm like, yeah, but you're supposed to stay here with me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's hard in the moment to see sometimes, but, and I don't know if that's what it will be. There's just a lot that could happen.
Yeah.
But not saying that any of it will. We may come back in a month and I'm like, hey, we're in the same boat. But I know if that's what it is,
Whatever it is, it's going to be different.
Option, it will be very obvious.
Yeah.
And it will be obvious what I'm supposed to do. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. God's not going to walk you down a trail in the dark.
Yep.
Like, you're at least going to know where you're supposed to be going. It may be rocky at times, but...
And that's, I mean, God's not a God of confusion.
Yeah.
He's a God of peace. And if you get so worked up and so stressed out about making the right choice and stuff like that, then not to be... I'm talking to myself here, but that's I've done that to myself.
Yeah.
That's not from God. God's not going to be like, are you good enough to make the right choice here?
Yeah.
That's not it. I mean, God has a plan for your life, but his will for your life is to follow him.
Yeah.
In whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Now, not saying those choices are ever going to be necessarily easy.
No.
I think in the moment of having to make those decisions, it's going to be very difficult. But you're going to have to, trust that you're making that decision not just on selfish ambition, but on what, you're being called to do.
Yeah.
Because the whole world's a mission field. Just because we're on staff at a church does not mean we are better than anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I sometimes think we're actually, like, hindered because, I mean, we hang out with saved people all day long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our culture that we're around all the time is people who understand the word, who live by the word, and who, and when we're dealing with something, we're dealing with one person at a time that comes to us.
Yeah.
To then, like, hey, I need counseling, I need help with something, or whatever it may be. They're usually coming to us. It's not like we're sitting in the office where we're listening to the cubicle next to us talk about, their wife, him and their wife getting divorced or something, or their kid going through tough times.
Right.
Like, I think it's so cool sometimes for people who do work in just an everyday office environment to have those water cooler conversations. That's like, you get to be the church. Like, that's so...
Yeah. Like,
instead of me going and sitting at a coffee shop where half the people in that coffee shop are going to be on staff at some other church. 90% of the time. I can go right now to any of the 3 main coffee shops in Fort Smith. Half the people at every single one of them will be on staff at a church somewhere. Mm-hmm. In Fort Smith or Van Buren.
And I mean, like you said, like, people with jobs that aren't in a church, to me, like, have the biggest range to make an impact. Because, I mean, it's definitely not bad working at a church, but if somebody knows that, oh, he works at a church, it's kind of, I get they automatically put me in a box.
A box, yeah.
But if you're just a person, if you're just a coworker, and if they see, like,
they see you posting pictures of your kid at the church, in the play or something, or doing something, or your family's up there at the church, and hey, we posted a picture from Christmas Eve, awesome, rad, killer.
Yeah.
and your friend sees that and like, oh, it's cool. I know that they go there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, oh, you just go there. You're just a normal person who goes there. You're not the worship leader. You're not the tech guy at the church, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I was saying, like people might attach Jesus' name to me because they see that I work at a church.
Yeah.
But for the chance to get Jesus' name attached to you because they see that you're different in a work environment and they know that something's a little bit different about you, like what a testimony, and how powerful is that?
Yeah. For somebody to go, oh, this guy's different. He doesn't go get hammered drunk with us after work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or like, this guy's different. Like, his wife actually seems to like him. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Like what's he got?
Yeah.
I know that he's not super rich. I know that he's working here at the same place as me.
Yeah.
But he seems to be the happiest person. He's
not getting mad and screaming at the boss.
Yeah.
He's not sending ugly emails.
Yeah. Like what's different?
Yeah.
And that's just it's so cool. It's a cool opportunity.
Yeah. And I think and I know so much of the time it's the opposite view. And they think that's what our lives are like. And it's like, really, it's not. Like, I'm just prepping it for you to come in here so we can help equip and train you to go out and do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting to do it as much, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I love, one of my favorite things is having D groups at like in a restaurant and consistently going to the same one.
Yeah.
Consistently for 6 months. One of my former D groups went to Village Inn every Tuesday or Thursday morning at 6:15. There's no one in there except for the same 5 old men.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah.
They saw us every week come in. Every week we prayed, you know, read our Bible, read scriptures and everything. And there was one of the waitresses at the end of the year towards Christmas time, like brought us a pie, gave us a pie, like just to take. And she was like, oh, I would just love it if y'all would write down some of your sermons. She called them sermons. Which,
right.
I mean, in a sense, you know,
it
is a small sermon, like, depending on how you look at it. But just us talking about our journal entries. And what was so cool is one of the guys goes, here, and just hands her his entire year worth of journaling.
Wow.
Like some deep stuff, deep private stuff, and just goes, here, and hands it to her. And now she has because we read through the entire New Testament that year. And so she has the entire New Testament of every week, 2 to 3 scriptures for every week through the entire New Testament.
Wow.
With descriptions of what it's saying, like in just layman's terms, and what's going on in that dude's life, like, and how it applies to that scripture.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool. And she was so, like, she was excited about it, like, thrilled about it. And it was just insane. But, yeah, it was
That's
also
awesome.
cool because, like, she did that, and I think she, like, covered our breakfast or whatever. And we were going to, like, over-tip her that morning. Like, we had all brought, like, a lot of cash just to, like, over-tip her. Mm-hmm. And she ended up giving us this pie and covers our meal. And we were like, no. So we're like, okay, fine. All that money we were using for breakfast, we just left her, like, I think we left her like $150 or something like that. It was so cool to do. Like, because, you know, it made a big difference in her life. And that was what we got to do, you know. And I always think about, like, man, if I could do that every day, like, how cool would that be?
Yeah.
Like, get out there, you know, get a little dirt on you, you know. So much of the time we sit there in the church and all clean. Mm-hmm. Like, if I want to go sit in the sanctuary and just sit there and be in awe of God, I can.
Yep.
I'm not going to sit there and have somebody cuss me out.
Exactly.
90% of the time.
Exactly.
And when we do, it's a big deal. Yeah. Everybody knows about it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because generally if, like, someone comes to the church and, like, is asking for something, it's not going to be one person that goes and talks to them. It's going to be, like, 8 of us that's going to surround the person.
Right.
And be like, hey, what do you need? What can we help you with? What can we do for you? Like, let's help you.
Yeah.
Which is also cool because we're all chomping at the bit to do it, too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
We just, you know, different line of work.
Yeah.
But
man.
It's funny.
That's cool. So you went to Village Inn.
Yeah. Yeah. It was always fun. I enjoy it. Hopefully this year that's what we're planning on doing. But, like, you also have to explain that vision to the other guys if they don't know. You know? because you can't just be like, oh, let's just go to Village Inn this morning, and not make it a big deal. Like, hey, we're doing this for a couple reasons.
Yeah.
Really so that we're accountable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we're going to have to pray, and it's going to be a big deal.
Yep.
And it's not going to be, the safe place of the church.
Right.
You're going to pray in front of a full, packed out restaurant.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Like, put up or shut up, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're doing the D group training Sunday.
Yeah.
And I think the plan is for me to be in one with a group of guys, and then me to lead one for one of the youth. And I'm thrilled to lead one for the youth, but I wouldn't say more excited. I'm just as excited to be in one for myself, because I know it's not, because I've been part of there's different kinds of Bible studies and stuff like that you go to. Like in high school, we went to one of those Bible and ball, and all it was we played basketball for like an hour, sometimes 2 hours, and then at the end we would sit around the table and we would read like a scripture, but there wasn't really any depth to it. And it was almost like when we would confess things to each other, it was almost like a bragging confess, like, oh, I did this, and I know it was wrong, but stupid me.
Yeah.
But with this, I'm excited because like I'm gonna have to be open, and that's gonna allow so much freedom for me.
Yeah, it really is doing life with people. I mean, it changes you. I mean, and it is all about however much you put in is how much you get out. I fully believe that. If you come in, you're not going to say anything, you're not going to get anything out of that group. And it's going to hurt the other guys in the group because they're not going to get anything out of it either.
Yeah.
One person being honest and the other people not being doesn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a big year. A real big year.
Yeah.
All right, so instead of a top 5 list today, we're just going to kind of talk about what goes along with New Year's, and that's New Year's resolutions, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Did you have any resolutions?
No, I've never been a resolution guy. But I started trying to just eat better.
Yeah. But you started that in December.
I started that in December.
Yeah.
But then I got serious about it at the first of the year, but only because all the Christmas parties and stuff like that. I'm just like, no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't want to try to start this right now.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I do think like later on in the year, like by summertime, like I want to be at a certain point.
Sure.
But it's not like, all right, 2022, I'm going to have all
January
the muscles.
1st, no more fat.
No more fat. I'm going to bench press however much is a lot of weight. That's not me.
I'm not a big resolutions fan either, because it's always like, if you couldn't do it the day before on the 31st, you're not going to do it the first.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Because everybody that I've ever known, they're like, all right, January 1st, I'm hitting the gym. The 31st, they're either like chugging down the alcohol or like just eating like burgers and fries and all kinds of junk.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, tomorrow's going to be rough, dude.
Yeah, I want to see like the how busy the gym is January 1st compared to February 1st. Like to see like
Yeah, I would even think you have to do March again.
Yeah.
Like the January, February, March.
Yeah.
The first of all 3, I want to see.
It's a solid decline for sure.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like them. But hey, maybe you do. So if you have a good resolution, let us know, because I would love to hear it. I would love to hear what you're going to do this year different than you did last year. And let us know how you think it's going to go. So if you think you're going to make it all year, or if you're like, I'm going to try this, we'll see how it goes. But have you heard any weird ones this year?
I haven't heard any weird ones this year. No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
One, I was just flipping through here, and one of them was, win back my ex. Like, that's so weird. Like,
dude.
if you've got to force it to happen, you probably shouldn't be doing it. You know, you got the normal ones: join a gym, learn something new, travel more,
read a book a month.
Yeah, if that, Rebecca. Book a day. Be happier.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say get organized already? Like, get organized.
Get organized, and this year I'm going to like live for myself.
I'm gonna reinvent myself.
Yeah.
Why? What?
Yeah.
Here's a funny one. I'm gonna make a new friend a month. Like, it's the 31st. I gotta make a new friend. Will you be my new friend?
Yeah. Please.
Can I get your number? I've got to keep my resolution.
Please.
Man. I've worked all month and I can't meet new people. I'm gonna develop a good relationship with your body, with my body. I'm gonna develop a good relationship with my body. You know, we're together a lot, so I guess I better get to know it a whole lot. Gosh.
Drink more water is always a popular
Drink more water
one.
is always a popular one, yeah. That's so... Let's see. Oh, and everybody who deleted all their apps on their phone on the 1st, stop. Who are you kidding? You're going to put Twitter back on there in 3 days because you want to know what Trump tweeted out. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go vegan for 6 months.
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to do a marathon. Oh, this is good. I'm going to go viral on TikTok because you really can control that.
Yeah.
Are you going to post the same video every day and hope that somebody sees it? Like, oh, gosh. I'm going to wake up before noon on the weekends. There's a hard one to live by. Good job. You don't hunt, obviously. I'm going to stop making lists that includes making more lists.
I'm gonna travel this year. I want to go different places. Like, you got to be in a certain position to do that. Like, you got a lot of vacation or a lot of money.
You really like to walk.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's funny. So yeah, let us know what your New Year's resolution is. And as always, you know, if there's something you want us to talk about, we're fixing to get back into some more topics and more topical type stuff, and hopefully some guests here in the near future. But if there's anybody you want us to like talk to, you want something to talk about, like, let us know, because we are fixing to start planning out the next few episodes and really get going with what this next year is going to look like.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's make a resolution right now to do the 100 episodes this year.
Okay.
We have to do 2 a week.
2 a week.
I don't know.
To make 100.
Yeah.
Well, 50 episodes. That's our resolution. 15.
Yeah. 15?
Yeah, so that way we can complete our resolution.
Oh, okay. I got you.
It's achievable.
Yeah, achievable one.
Yeah. But y'all stay tuned because by the end of this year, this hoodie's going to be stretched out by my muscles. That's my resolution. Just my biceps.
Just your biceps.
Just
no legs.
Every day, I'm just going to go in and do curls.
Just curls for the girls, baby.
Yeah.
And on that note, we will see you next time.
Later.
See ya. Thanks for listening to the Good Dudes Podcast.
To stay up to date with everything going on, follow us on all social media platforms at The Good Dudes Podcast. And we'll see you in the next one.